The classroom door slammed open so hard the walls shook. "Where is she?" Madison Harper's voice cut through the morning chatter like broken glass. Her blonde ponytail whipped as she scanned the room, blue eyes blazing with fury. Behind her, 3 girls in matching varsity jackets formed a wall of intimidation. In the back corner, a small figure hunched lower over her notebook. Autumn Cheno. That wasn't right. Autumn Rivers. The new girl, dark hair fell like a curtain, hiding her face. Her pencil moved steadily across the page, but her shoulders had gone rigid. Madison's designer boots clicked against the linoleum floor. Click, click, click. Each step deliberate, predatory. The entire AP chemistry class held its breath. 23 students, and not one dared to move. "I'm talking to you." Scholarship trash. Madison stopped at Autumn's desk, manicured nails drumming against the wooden surface. "You think you can humiliate my boyfriend and just sit here like nothing happened?" Before we dive into this incredible moment, if stories about underdogs standing up for themselves inspire you the way they inspire me, consider hitting that like button. It really helps these stories reach people who might need to hear them. And if you want to support the creation of more content like this, stories that remind us all that strength comes in unexpected packages, there's a thanks button below this video. Every bit of support helps me bring you more powerful, transformative moments like the one you're about to witness. Now, let's see what happens when someone pushes the quiet girl too far. That small act of defiance made Madison's face flush crimson. She grabbed the edge of the desk, leaning down until her perfume, something expensive and suffocating, filled the space between them. "Blake told me what you did yesterday, how you made him look stupid in front of Coach Williams." Madison's voice dropped to a whisper, but somehow everyone heard it. "Nobody embarrasses Blake Garrison. Nobody embarrasses me." The pencil kept moving, gentle scratches against paper, mathematical equations flowing in neat rows. "Look at me when I'm talking to you." Madison's hand shot out, grabbing a fistful of Autumn's hair, but what happened next changed everything. Autumn's hand moved faster than thought. One moment Madison was pulling her hair. The next moment, Madison's wrist was caught in an iron grip. The classroom gasped collectively. "Let go." Autumn's voice was quiet, barely above a whisper, but it carried a weight that made Madison step back involuntarily. For the first time, everyone got a clear look at the new girl's face. Autumn Rivers wasn't what they expected. Not scared, not crying. Her dark eyes held something else entirely, a calm that seemed almost dangerous. Madison yanked her hand free, rubbing her wrist. Red marks bloomed where Autumn's fingers had been. Did she just touch me?" She looked at her friends, voice rising with disbelief. "This nobody just put her hands on me?" "Brooklyn." Madison's right hand stepped forward. "Want us to teach her a lesson?" "Mads?" "No." Madison's smile turned sharp. "Calculating. I want to do this myself. Stand up." Autumn carefully set her pencil down, closed her notebook. The deliberate movements made Madison's eye twitch. "I said stand up." Slowly, Autumn pushed her chair back. She was smaller than Madison by at least 4 inches. Wearing a simple gray hoodie and faded jeans, everything about her screamed easy target. Everything except her eyes. "You know what your problem is?" Madison circled her like a shark. "You don't know your place? You come to Preston Academy on some charity scholarship, thinking you belong here? Newsflash, you don't." The classroom door was still open. Students from the hallway had started gathering, drawn by the commotion. Nobody wanted to miss Madison Harper putting someone in their place. It was better than reality television. "My father owns half this town," Madison continued. "My mother is on the school board. Blake's family built the gym you probably can't even afford to use. And you?" She laughed, harsh and bitter. "You're nothing. A nobody who thought she could make my boyfriend look bad." Autumn remained silent, but her stance had shifted, subtle. Feet shoulder-width apart, weight balanced. Only someone who knew what to look for would notice. "Mr. Peterson should have been here by now." The chemistry teacher was always 5 minutes late. stopping for coffee in the teacher's lounge. Today, those 5 minutes felt like hours. Say something, Madison shoved Autumn's shoulder. The smaller girl barely moved, absorbing the push like water. Oh, now you're tough? Another shove. Harder this time. Where was this attitude yesterday when you were running your mouth to Coach Williams? From the doorway, someone whispered, "Is that the girl who corrected Blake about the wrestling hold?" "Yeah." Told the coach Blake was doing it wrong. In front of the whole team, Madison's face darkened. "Shut up!" She whirled back to Autumn. "You think you know about wrestling? About fighting? Let me show you what a real fight looks like." She grabbed for Autumn's hoodie with both hands. Time seemed to slow. Autumn's body moved like water finding its path. She stepped inside Madison's reach, one hand redirecting the grab, while the other found Madison's elbow, a pivot, a shift of weight. And suddenly Madison was airborne. The bigger girl hit the ground hard. Thump! Air rushed from her lungs in a whoosh. The classroom erupted in gasps and shouts. Madison lay on her back, staring at the ceiling tiles, trying to understand what just happened. 1 second she was grabbing the new girl. The next, she was looking at fluorescent lights. Autumn stepped back, hands at her sides. Still calm, still quiet. "Shesh! Just," Brooklyn stuttered, pointing with a shaking finger. Madison rolled to her side, coughing. Her perfect ponytail was ruined. Blonde hair splayed across the dirty floor. "You're dead," she wheezed. "You're so dead." She struggled to her feet, face red with humiliation and rage. The crowd in the doorway had grown. Someone was definitely filming this. By lunch, it would be all over social media. "Mads, maybe we should." Savannah, another of Madison's crew, reached out tentatively. "No!" Madison slapped her hand away. "Nobody touches me and gets away with it. Nobody." She charged at Autumn, wild and furious. This time, Autumn didn't wait. She met Madison halfway, catching her arm and using her momentum against her. It looked like a dance, graceful, effortless. Madison's feet left the ground again, but this time Autumn controlled the landing. Setting her down almost gently, Madison ended up on her knees. One arm twisted behind her back in a hold that looked simple but had her completely immobilized. "I don't want to hurt you," Autumn said quietly. "Please stop. Let me go." Madison struggled, but every movement made the hold tighter. "Let me go, you psycho." "Say you'll leave me alone." "Never. My father will sue you. My mother will have you expelled. Blake will." "Blake will what?" A new voice cut through the chaos. Everyone turned. Blake Garrison himself stood in the doorway, all 6 feet 2 inches of varsity quarterback glory. His Letterman jacket stretched across broad shoulders, and his jaw, the one that had gotten him modeling offers, was clenched tight. "Blake!" Madison's voice cracked with relief. "Get her off me!" Blake's eyes moved from his girlfriend on her knees to the small girl holding her there. Something flickered across his face. Not anger. Something else. "Let her go," he said quietly. Autumn released the hold immediately. Stepping back, Madison scrambled to her feet, running to Blake's arms. "She attacked me. That psycho attacked me for no reason. You have to—" "I saw the whole thing." "Madison." Blake's voice was tired. "From the hallway. I saw you grab her first." Madison pulled back, staring at him. "You're taking her side?" "I'm not taking anyone's side. I'm just saying what I saw. She humiliated you yesterday, made you look weak." Blake's jaw tightened further. "No. She corrected my form. There's a difference." His eyes found Autumn, who had returned to her desk. Coach Williams asked her to demonstrate the proper hold. "Turns out she knows what she's talking about." "I don't care what she knows." Madison's voice rose to a shriek. "She's nothing. She's nobody. She doesn't belong here." "Madison, stop." "No, you stop. How can you stand there and—" "Because she was right," Blake exploded. The hallway crowd stepped back. When Blake Garrison raised his voice, people listened. "She was right about the hold. Coach made me stay after practice to relearn it. Said if I'd kept doing it wrong, I could have seriously hurt someone. Madison's mouth opened and closed like a fish. Blake ran a hand through his perfect hair, messing it up. Look, I was embarrassed too. Some random girl knowing more about wrestling than me. But you know what's more embarrassing? Acting like this? Like we own people, just because our families have money. Blake Christopher Garrison. Don't you dare? I'm done. Madison. The words fell heavy in the sudden silence. This? Us? We're done. Madison's face went white, then red, then white again. You're breaking up with me? For her? I'm breaking up with you for me. This isn't who I want to be anymore. He turned to leave, then paused, looked back at Autumn, who was watching everything with those dark, unreadable eyes. I'm sorry, he said simply. About yesterday, about today, about everything. Then he was gone. Pushing through the crowd, Madison stood frozen in the center of the classroom, looking small despite her height. Her perfect world had just cracked down the middle. This isn't over, she whispered. But the threat had lost its teeth. She looked around at her friends, but Brooklyn and Savannah wouldn't meet her eyes. This isn't over. Louder this time. Despérate. She fled the room, shoulder-checking students out of her way. The classroom slowly returned to life. Whispers buzzed like electricity. Autumn Rivers, the scholarship girl who'd been at Preston Academy for exactly 1 week, had just taken down Madison Harper without breaking a sweat. Dude, someone whispered. What just happened? I think Madison just got served. Did you see that throw? It was like something out of a movie. Blake Garrison just dumped Madison Harper. Blake Garrison. Autumn picked up her pencil, returning to her equations as if nothing had happened, but her hands were shaking slightly. Just a tremor, barely visible. Quinn Martinez, who sat 2 seats over, leaned across the aisle. Hey, that was incredible. Where did you learn to do that? Autumn glanced up briefly. My grandfather. Is he like a martial arts teacher? A small smile touched Autumn's lips. The first one anyone had seen from her. Something like that? Mr. Peterson finally arrived, coffee in hand, completely oblivious to the drama that had just unfolded. All right, everyone, settle down. Today we're covering molecular bonds. Why is everyone standing around? Seats. People. The crowd dispersed reluctantly. The greatest show in Preston Academy history was over, for now. As students filed to their seats, nobody noticed Brooklyn pull out her phone and send a quick text. Meeting tonight. We need to talk about the new girl. The response came immediately. Already on it. She has no idea what she's started. Autumn bent over her notebook, hair falling forward again. But those who looked closely might have noticed something else. Her pencil wasn't moving randomly. She was drawing something in the margins. Small, precise movements. It looked like a map of the school. The morning sun slanted through the tall windows, casting long shadows across the chemistry classroom. Outside, storm clouds gathered on the horizon, dark and promising. By lunchtime, everyone at Preston Academy knew about the girl who'd flipped Madison Harper. They knew about Blake's dramatic breakup. They knew something had shifted in the careful social hierarchy of their elite school. What they didn't know was that Autumn Rivers had secrets worth more than all their trust funds combined. What they didn't know was that Madison's text had reached exactly who it was supposed to reach. What they didn't know was that this morning's confrontation was just the opening move in a much larger game. In the back corner of chemistry class, Autumn Rivers continued her equations. Each number precise and deliberate. She'd learned long ago that the most dangerous person in any room was the one who knew how to wait. The pencil scratched softly against paper. Outside, thunder rolled in the distance. The real storm was coming. But first, she had to survive lunch. The cafeteria at Preston Academy looked more like a 5-star restaurant than a school lunchroom. Marble floors, floor-to-ceiling windows, actual tablecloths. It was the kind of place where the salad bar had 7 types of imported olives. Autumn stood at the entrance, holding a brown paper bag. She'd learned on day one that the lunch prices here could feed her family for a week. The scholarship covered tuition, not the $40 artisanal sandwiches. Every head turned when she walked in. Conversations stopped mid-sentence. Forks paused halfway to mouths. "There she is," someone whispered. "The girl who destroyed Madison? I heard she's a black belt. I heard she's in witness protection. I heard she's secretly rich. And this is all a test." Autumn kept her eyes forward, looking for an empty table. In a room designed for 300, finding solitude should have been easy. But Preston Academy students moved like schools of fish, clustering together for protection and status. The popular table dominated the center. Usually Madison's kingdom, today it sat half empty. Blake's normal spot was vacant. Madison herself was nowhere to be seen. The jock table buzzed with energy. Several wrestlers kept glancing her way. Expressions unreadable. The theater kids whispered behind their hands. The debate team looked like they were taking notes. Finally, she spotted it. A small table by the windows, partially hidden by a potted plant. Perfect. She'd made it halfway there when a voice called out, "Autumn, over here!" Quinn Martinez was waving from a table near the back. Not quite the outcasts, but definitely not the elite. The kind of kids who flew under the radar by choice. Autumn hesitated. Sitting alone was safer. Sitting alone meant no questions. No complications. "Come on," Quinn called again. "Unless you actually want to eat behind that plant." "Which?" "Fair enough. It's a nice plant." Against her better judgment, Autumn changed direction. The table had 4 occupants. Quinn, with their purple-streaked hair and paint-stained fingers, a boy with thick glasses and a robotics team hoodie, a girl with braids and a violin case at her feet, and someone Autumn recognized from her English class Jordan, something always reading. "Never talking. Everyone, this is Autumn," Quinn announced as she approached. "Autumn, this is the island of misfit toys. Pull up a chair. We prefer the untouchables." The boy with glasses corrected. "You know, like the movie but opposite. Nobody prefers that." "Ethan," the girl with braids said, "it makes us sound like we have a disease." Better than Quinn's suggestion. Jordan looked up from their book. The Breakfast Club, too. Zero was just sad. Autumn sat carefully, paper bag in hand. The others had cafeteria trays loaded with gourmet food. Her peanut butter sandwich suddenly felt very small. "So?" Quinn leaned forward, eyes bright with curiosity. "Judo or jujitsu?" "I'm sorry?" "The throw you used on Madison. Looked like judo to me. But Ethan thinks it was jujitsu." "Actually," Ethan pushed his glasses up, "I said it looked like a modified Haraigoshi, which could be either." "Nobody cares about the technical terms," the girl with braids interrupted. "I'm Sierra. By the way, and I think what Quinn really wants to know is, are you secretly a ninja?" Autumn unwrapped her sandwich slowly. "No." "Government agent?" "No." "Alien with superior strength?" "Definitely not." "Disappointing." Quinn sighed dramatically. "We had a whole betting pool going. I had 20 on Secret Princess." Jordan added without looking up. "Despite everything." Autumn felt her lips twitch. These weren't the questions she'd expected. "Where did you train? How long have you studied? Who's your teacher?" Those would have been dangerous. These were just silly. "Just a girl who knows some self-defense," she said finally. "Some self-defense?" Sierra laughed. "Girl, you flipped Madison Harper like she was made of paper. That's not some self-defense. That's like saying Einstein knew some math." "Speaking of Madison," Ethan glanced around nervously. "Anyone else notice her crew isn't here?" The table went quiet. They all looked toward the popular section, noting the strategic absences: Brooklyn, Savannah, and Trinity. Quinn counted. "All missing? That's not suspicious at all. Maybe they're comforting Madison." Sierra suggested, "You know, painting each other's nails and plotting revenge. Normal mean girl stuff." "Since when does Madison need comfort?" Jordan finally set their book down. "She's like a shark. She doesn't have feelings, just different levels of hunger." "That's not fair," Ethan protested. Sharks are actually quite complex creatures with— Not the point. Ethan. Autumn listened to their banter. Something warm unfurling in her chest. They talked over each other, interrupted constantly, argued about ridiculous things. It was nice, normal, even. She'd been at 7 schools in 4 years. She'd learned not to make connections, not to get comfortable. But sitting here, listening to Quinn defend their theory about Madison being a vampire. She never eats garlic. It's suspicious. Autumn felt dangerously close to relaxing. Earth to Autumn. Sierra waved a hand in front of her face. You still with us? Sorry. Just thinking. About what you're going to do when Madison comes for round 2? Quinn asked. The table went quiet again. This was the real question, hidden under all the jokes. She will. You know, Jordan said softly, Madison doesn't lose. It's like physically impossible for her. She'll find a way to make you pay. Let her try, Autumn said, then immediately regretted it. Too confident, too challenging. But her lunch companions just grinned. Okay, now that sounds like secret agent talk? Quinn pointed accusingly. Come on, give us something. CIA? FBI? Men in Black? Definitely not Men in Black. Autumn deadpanned. I look terrible in suits. Ethan snort laughed. Spraying milk? Sierra handed him napkins while rolling her eyes. You're all right? New girl. Jordan decided. Weird and mysterious? But all right. The best kind of all right. Quinn added. For 20 minutes, Autumn almost forgot why she was really at Preston Academy. Almost forgot about the manila folder hidden in her room. The photos, the promises made in sterile government offices. She was just a teenager eating lunch with could-be friends, laughing at Ethan's terrible science puns. Then her phone buzzed. Unknown number. No message. Just a photo. Her blood turned to ice. The photo showed her little brother at his elementary school. He was on the swings, laughing, unaware of the camera. The angle meant someone had been standing just outside the fence, watching, waiting. You okay? Sierra noticed her expression. You just went super pale. Autumn's voice caught. She cleared her throat. I need to use the restroom. She stood abruptly, leaving her half-eaten sandwich behind. The others exchanged worried glances. Was it something we said? Ethan asked anxiously. The Men in Black joke was too far. Quinn muttered. I knew it. Autumn walked quickly but steadily to the nearest bathroom. She couldn't run, couldn't show panic. Someone was watching. Had to be. The photo proved that the bathroom was mercifully empty. Madison's crew might be missing. But they weren't here. Autumn locked herself in the far stall and pulled out her phone with trembling hands. Another message had arrived. Nice throw this morning. Your grandfather teach you that? How is the old man? By the way, still in hiding? Her hands clenched so tight the phone creaked. They knew. Someone at this school knew who she really was. Another buzz. Another photo. This time of her mother at the grocery store, reaching for cereal, obviously unaware she was being photographed. Preston Academy is full of secrets. Autumn Rivers. Or should we use your real name? She typed back with shaking fingers. What do you want? The response was immediate. Just a friendly warning. Some fights aren't worth winning. Some enemies are bigger than you think. Enjoy your lunch. Then nothing. She waited 5 minutes. 10. But no more messages came. Autumn stared at the photos until they burned into her retinas. Michael on the swings. Mom at the store. They'd found them. Despite all the precautions, all the promises of protection, they'd found them. A toilet flushed in another stall. Autumn hadn't heard anyone come in. She held her breath as footsteps clicked across the tile. The footsteps stopped right outside her stall. I know you're in there. Madison's voice was different. Calmer. More dangereux. And I know you're scared. Autumn said nothing. You should be scared. But not of me. A pause. I'm the least of your problems now. What are you talking about? Madison laughed. But there was no humor in it. You really don't know, do you? You have no idea what you've stumbled into. Then tell me. Can't. But I can give you some advice. One target to another. Madison's voice dropped lower. Get out. Leave Preston. Tonight. Take your family and run. Run far. And don't look back. Why would you? Because what happened this morning? Madison cut her off. That made you visible? And trust me, the last thing someone like you wants is to be visible at Preston Academy. The footsteps clicked away. The bathroom door opened and closed. Autumn stayed in the stall. Mind racing. Madison knew something. Maybe not everything. But something, and she was scared too. Madison Harper, Queen of Preston Academy, was scared. Of what? Of who? She looked at the photos again. Michael. Mom. Her family. The only thing that mattered. The whole reason she'd agreed to this insane plan. Find out who killed Senator Rivers. They'd said, his granddaughter would have access. His granddaughter could get close. His granddaughter is dead. She'd protested. Exactly. They'd smiled. That's what makes you perfect for the role. Now someone knew. Someone had seen through the carefully constructed identity, the fake records, the staged background, and they were threatening the only real thing in her fake life, her family. Autumn took a deep breath, then another. Her hand steadied. She deleted the photos and messages, then pulled up a different number. One memorized, never saved. Phoenix. She typed. The nest is compromised. Baby birds in danger. The response took 30 seconds. Extraction authorized. 12 hours. Negative. Mission continues. Confirm? She thought of Madison's warning, thought of her brother on those swings, thought of the promise she'd made to people who saw her as expendable. But mostly, she thought of a dead girl, whose name she now wore, the real Autumn Rivers, who died in a car accident at age 3, but whose identity had been kept alive in government databases for moments like this. Confirm. She typed. Mission continues. Increase protection on baby birds. Understood. Stay gray. Autumn deleted this conversation too. Then flushed the toilet for show. She washed her hands, splashed water on her face, rebuilt her mask of calm. The cafeteria buzzed with normal teenage drama. When she returned, her unlikely lunch companions were deep in debate about some movie. Nobody noticed her slip back into her seat. You missed Ethan's conspiracy theory about the lunch ladies, Quinn informed her. Apparently they're all secretly related. It's not a conspiracy if it's true. Ethan protested. They all have the same nose. Autumn forced a smile, picking up her sandwich. Everything was normal. Everything was fine. But under the table, her free hand stayed clenched in a fist. Ready. Madison had warned her about being visible, but visibility worked both ways. Now that she was in the open, maybe her enemy would be too. The question was, which enemy? The one who'd killed a senator's granddaughter 4 years ago? The one taking photos of her family? Or someone else entirely? Hidden in this school full of secrets and lies? She bit into her peanut butter sandwich, chewing mechanically. Around here, teenagers worried about tests and relationships and college applications, normal problems for normal kids. Autumn Riverser, whoever she really was, had never been normal. But she was very good at pretending. The storm clouds had moved closer, darkening the sky outside. In the distance, lightning flickered. Perfect weather for hunting, she thought. The question was, who was hunting whom? The storm hit during 6th period. Rain hammered against the windows of the library like angry fists. Autumn sat in the far corner, surrounded by old yearbooks and newspaper archives. If someone at Preston Academy knew who she really was, maybe the answer lay in the past. 1997, she murmured, pulling another dusty volume from the shelf. The year Senator Rivers' son died. The year everything started. Thunder cracked overhead. Lights flickering. The librarian had left early, claiming migraines. Autumn was alone with decades of secrets. Her phone buzzed. Quinn, movie night at my place? The whole gang's coming. You in? She stared at the message. Throat tight. Normal teenagers having normal fun. Everything she couldn't be. Can't tonight? She typed back. Family stuff. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Then, if you need anything, Autumn blinked hard. When had she last had a real friend? Before the program? Before her father's death? Before footsteps in the hallway? Multiple sets. Moving with purpose. She closed the yearbook silently. Muscle tensing. The library had 3 exits. Main door, fire exit, and the old servants' passage that connected to the chapel. She'd memorized them all on day 1. The main door opened slowly. Brooklyn entered first, followed by Savannah and Trinity. But something was wrong. Their usual swagger was gone, replaced by something that looked like fear. "We need to talk," Brooklyn said without preamble. "About this morning? About Madison. She already warned me to leave," Autumn replied, calculating distances to each exit. "That's just it." Savannah's voice shook. "Madison doesn't warn people. She destroys them. But she warned you." Trinity stepped forward, designer heels clicking on marble. "Do you know why Madison really rules this school? It's not her money or her mother being on the board. Enlighten me. She has dirt on everyone. Photos, videos, secrets that could ruin lives." Brooklyn's perfectly manicured hands were trembling. "She's been collecting since middle school. That's how she controls us." Lightning flashes, illuminating their faces. They looked young suddenly, scared. But this morning, after what happened, she destroyed it all. Savannah pulled out her phone, showing a video, the cloud storage, the physical files, everything. Years of leverage. Gone. In the grainy security footage, Madison fed paper after paper into a shredder, tears streaming down her face. "Why?" Autumn asked, though she suspected she knew. "Because someone has something worse on her," Trinity whispered. "Someone threatened her family if she didn't back off. Said they'd release everything about her father's company. The offshore accounts, the bribes, everything." The pieces clicked into place. Madison wasn't the apex predator here. She was just another frightened girl caught in a larger web. "Who?" Autumn kept her voice steady. The 3 girls exchanged glances. "That's what we're trying to figure out." Brooklyn admitted. "It started 3 months ago, right around the time they announced the scholarship program. The one that brought you here." Autumn's blood chilled. 3 months ago. She'd been nobody. Just another foster kid bouncing between homes. Then the men in suits had arrived with their proposition and their promises. "We think," Savannah continued hesitantly, "we think someone wanted you here. Specifically you. And they've been clearing the path." "That's insane." "Is it?" Trinity pulled out a folder. "Look at this. Every obstacle to you getting that scholarship mysteriously disappeared. The girl who was supposed to get it, her family suddenly moved to Europe. The committee member who opposed it, heart attack at 42. The background check that should have flagged inconsistencies. The investigator retired early." Autumn stared at the documents. Names, dates, connections she hadn't seen before. A pattern emerging from chaos. Madison was supposed to be another obstacle. Brooklyn said quietly, "She always goes after scholarship kids. Makes them quit within a week. But this morning she got a message." Savannah finished. "Right before she came to your classroom, we saw her face change. From angry to terrified in seconds. Thunder boomed. Closer now. The lights went out completely for 3 heartbeats before the backup generators kicked in. In those 3 seconds of darkness, Autumn made a decision. There's something you need to know," she said slowly, "about who I really." The fire exit burst open. A figure in a maintenance uniform stepped through. But the way he moved screamed military training. "Gun already drawn. Nobody move," he commanded. Autumn reacted on instinct. The yearbook flew from her hands, hitting the gun as he fired. The bullet went wide, shattering a window. Rain poured in. She rolled behind a bookshelf as the 3 girls screamed. More footsteps in the hallway. They were boxing her in. Target acquired. The fake maintenance man spoke into his radio. Moving to contain. Autumn's mind raced. These weren't the government handlers. These weren't school security. These were professionals. And they were here to kill. A hand grabbed her ankle. She spun, ready to strike. But it was Trinity, pressed flat against the floor. "Servants' passage," the girl whispered urgently. "Behind the Shakespeare section." "Go!" "What about?" "We'll distract them." "Go!" Brooklyn was already standing, hands raised, playing the terrified teenager perfectly. "Please don't hurt us. We're just students." The gunman's attention shifted for a crucial second. Autumn belly-crawled between shelves, rain soaking through her clothes from the broken window. Thunder masked the sound of her movement. The Shakespeare section loomed ahead. She could see the outline of the hidden door, painted to match the walls. "Just 10 more feet." "Where is she?" A new voice. Female. Cold. Professional. "Who?" Savannah's voice pitched high with fake hysteria. "We were just studying. The Rivers girl." "Where is she?" Autumn's hand found the door latch. "Please, don't be locked." "Please don't be locked." It clicked open. She slipped through into musty darkness. The passage was narrow. Built in an era when servants were meant to be invisible, cobwebs caught in her hair as she felt her way forward. Behind her, she could hear shouting. Orders being barked. They'd discover her escape route soon. She had minutes at most. The passage opened into the chapel basement. Autumn emerged behind the altar, gasping for clean air. The storm raged outside stained glass windows, casting everything in shifting colors. Her phone vibrated. Unknown number again. "Impressive. But you can't run forever." She typed back, "Who are you?" "Someone who's been waiting 4 years for you to show up. The real question is, are you here to finish what your grandfather started, or to bury it?" Her grandfather, the real Autumn Rivers' grandfather, Senator Rivers, who died in a heart attack just weeks before he was set to testify about defense contractor corruption. "I don't understand," she typed. "Building 7. Midnight. Come alone. Or your little brother's next playground visit will be his last." The photo that followed showed Michael at home, doing homework at the kitchen table. The timestamp was from 5 minutes ago. Rage flooded through her. They could threaten her, hunt her, try to kill her. But touching her family? That was a mistake. Autumn stood, rain-soaked and furious. In the house of God. Somewhere in this school was Building 7. Somewhere was the person who'd orchestrated all of this. Time to stop running. She pushed through the chapel doors into the storm. Rain hit like ice needles. But she barely felt it. Building 7 was the old observatory. Abandoned since the new science center was built, perfect place for an ambush. Or a revelation. Lightning split the sky as she crossed the quad. If shooters were watching, she was an easy target. But something told her they wanted her alive. For now, the observatory loomed through the rain. Gothic architecture turned sinister by weather and neglect. The door hung partially open. Darkness beyond. Autumn paused at the threshold. Every instinct screamed trap. But Michael's face in that photo. She entered. Emergency lighting cast green shadows on dust-covered equipment. Star charts peeled from walls like dead skin. In the center of the main room, someone had set up 2 chairs facing each other. One was occupied. "Hello, Autumn." The man was older, distinguished, with silver hair and kind eyes that held terrible sadness. "Though I suppose that's not your real name." "Is it? Sarah?" She froze. Nobody had called her Sarah in over a year. Not since the program started. "How do you know your real name, my dear?" "I know everything about you." Sarah Chen. Honor student. Martial arts champion. Devoted daughter and sister. Until your father stumbled onto something he shouldn't have and paid the price. "You killed him?" Her voice came out strangled. "No." The man's expression was genuinely pained. "I tried to save him. Just like I tried to save the real Autumn Rivers. Just like I'm trying to save you." "Who are you?" He smiled sadly. "Someone who's been fighting this war far longer than you've been alive." "Sit, please. We don't have much time before they figure out where you've gone." Against every instinct, Autumn sat. The chair was positioned perfectly. She could reach him in less than a second if needed. "My name is Marcus Rivers," he said quietly. "I'm the real Autumn's grandfather. And despite what your handlers told you, I'm very much alive." The world tilted. That's impossible. Senator Rivers died 4 years ago. I saw the death certificate. You saw what they wanted you to see. Just like they showed you carefully edited files about my granddaughter's death. Tell me, what did they say happened to her? Car accident. Age 3. Body too damaged for open casket. Marcus laughed bitterly. Creative. The truth is simpler and worse. She's alive. Sarah. Hidden. Protected. But alive. Just like I've been. Why should I believe you? He pulled out a tablet, swiping through photos. A young girl with distinctive gray eyes, growing up in what looked like Switzerland. Recent photos showed a teenager who could have been Autumn's twin. They needed someone to draw out the conspiracy. Marcus explained, someone trained? Desperate. With the right look and skills, your father's death gave them the perfect leverage. Autumn's hands clenched. My father died investigating defense contractors. The same ones you were going to testify against. Your father died because he found proof of something much bigger. Not just corruption treason, a network of contractors, politicians, and foreign agents selling military secrets. The same network that wanted me dead. So why fake your death? Why hide? Because they had my granddaughter, the real Autumn. They took her when she was 3, told me she was dead. Used her as leverage for years, until I found out she was alive and disappeared to find her. Thunder shook the building. Through the broken dome above, rain poured onto the antique telescope. They sent you here as bait, Marcus continued, knowing someone at Preston was connected to the network, hoping to flush them out. Who? That's what I've been trying to discover. Someone here is the linchpin. The connection between the Academy's elite families and the conspiracy, but they're careful. Hidden. The door exploded inward. Not the maintenance crew. Blake Garrison stepped through, rain-slicked and breathing hard. They're coming, he gasped. Both groups, the shooters and the feds, someone tipped them off. Marcus stood smoothly. Hello, Blake. Right on time. Autumn looked between them. You know each other? Blake's been helping me, Marcus explained quickly. His father stumbled onto the network's money laundering. They killed him. Made it look like a heart attack. Blake's jaw tightened. Just like they tried with you. My mom remarried Garrison for protection. But I never forgot my real dad. Sirens wailed in the distance. Getting closer. Multiple vehicles. Coming fast. Sarah, you have a choice, Marcus said urgently. Come with me. Help me finish what your father started. Or go back to your handlers and live the lie. My family is already being moved. Blake held up his phone. My people got them out 20 minutes ago. They're safe. Your people? Kids of murdered parents tend to find each other, he said grimly. Quinn, Jordan, even some of Madison's crew. We've been building a network of our own BO. The sirens were splitting now. Surrounding the building, Autumn could hear shouts. Boots on gravel. Decide. Marcus pressed. Truth or safety? You can't have both. Autumn thought of her father, dying for documents he'd never fully understood. Of her brother, innocent and threatened. Of the real Autumn Rivers, hidden away like a shameful secret. Truth, she said. Marcus smiled. The first real warmth she'd seen from him. Your father would be proud. Blake was already moving, pulling aside a heavy cabinet to reveal another passage. Old bootlegger tunnel leads to the boathouse. Go. Marcus ordered. Both of you. There's a car waiting. What about you? Someone needs to delay them. He pulled out an FBI badge. Old but authentic. I still have friends on the inside. Go. They plunged into the tunnel as doors burst open above. Shouts. Gunfire. Shouts. But Autumn was already running through darkness toward an uncertain future. Blake led with the confidence of someone who'd done this before. The tunnel was better maintained than the servants' passage, with electric lights every 50 feet. Madison figured it out yesterday, he said as they ran. The connection. That's why she was so scared. Who is it? Not who. What? Preston Academy itself is the network has been for decades, training the next generation of conspirators, identifying useful assets. maintaining bloodlines of corruption. They burst out into the boathouse. A speedboat waited, engine running. Quinn sat at the wheel, purple hair hidden under a baseball cap. "About time?" they called. "Coast Guard's already mobilizing. We've got a narrow window." Autumn jumped in, Blake behind her. Quinn gunned the engine, shooting out into the storm-tossed lake. "Where are we going?" Autumn shouted over wind and motor. "Safe house first," Blake replied. "Then Switzerland." "Switzerland?" To get the real Autumn. She deserves to know the truth about her grandfather. About everything. Lightning illuminated the receding shoreline. Preston Academy looks small from here. Just buildings full of secrets and lies. "What about the network?" Autumn asked. "They'll keep coming." Quinn grinned fiercely. "Let them. We've got Madison's files. Marcus's evidence. Your father's research. Everything we need to burn it all down. Plus," Blake added, "we've got something they don't expect. A bunch of damaged kids with nothing left to lose and everything to fight for." The boat hit a wave hard, spray soaking them all. But Autumn found herself laughing, wild and free. For the first time in years, she wasn't running from the truth. She was chasing it. Her phone buzzed one last time. A message from Michael. "Sarah, the nice people said you sent them. Are we safe?" She typed back, "Yes. I love you. Be brave. I learned from you," came the reply. Autumn tucked the phone away and faced forward. Somewhere across dark water lay answers, allies, and the chance to finish what her father started. The girl they'd tried to drag down had become the storm itself. And storms, she'd learned, were impossible to stop once they started moving. Behind them, Preston Academy burned with sirens and searchlights. Ahead lay only darkness and possibility. Autumn Rivers, Sarah, Finley, whoever she was now smiled into the wind. The real education was just beginning.